The organisation Greenpeace, remember Greenpeace, a very high-profile pressure group and charity and the like, they're calling for a temporary tax on the super-rich to help fund green measures. Well, with the Chancellor also considering a range of measures to avoid a return to austerity, could taxing the rich actually be the answer to our problems? Have you had a rethink on this one? I'll give you my views on that in just a couple of moments. Also this afternoon, foreign thugs were responsible for almost 120,000 crimes across the country last year. This includes drug dealing, assault, shoplifting offences. I mean, the miserable list goes on. How are we allowing this to happen on our own doorstep? And this one too, terminally ill patients will be able to end their lives if 2 doctors and a judge agree. This is part of a bill to legalise assisted dying in England and Wales. It's being put before Parliament today. Of course, the arguments rage on about all of that. We'll get more detail throughout the course of the programme. Everything you need to know and all the breaking news right here on Talk 0344 499 1000. Now, I've no idea why or who gave me this belief, but since being kind of a teenager, as in later teens, whenever I heard anybody say, well, just tax the rich more, just tax the rich, because we've got there's a big black hole. Remember, the black hole was meant to be 22 billion quid. Now we're hearing rumbles from the Reeves HQ that it could be 40 billion that's got to be found in either savings or tax rises, or a combination of the two. And it doesn't really take much for the left to start bringing on that usual mantra, just tax the rich. Well, the rich already pay more tax than any other group, OK? Now, we can argue about percentages and the like. They pay more tax than any other group. But there's not a week goes past where somebody doesn't crunch the numbers. So, do you realise there's about 6 people or something in the country paying most of the tax? You know those kind of stats. But it happens to be true. And, of course, that group also takes less out of the system, more likely to use private healthcare, private education and the like, and more likely to employ people. So, I mean, the list goes on. So the rich are already contributing a massive amount of money. And without that particular group, that demographic at the top, the rich old duffers, I'm not talking about people who earn a good few quid. I'm talking about the rich. They already pay shed loads. I mean, forget people who squirrel money away in offshore accounts. That's quite rare, actually, among the rich. The average rich person pays their tax. Some rich people are still PAYE. They're just very rich, and they pay an awful lot of money. But we've got Greenpeace, the organisation. Greenpeace first came to my attention as a kid. I remember trying to stop whaling and things like that, all admirable stuff, and, high-risk manoeuvres from these, if you like, eco-protesters, as they would now be known. They have called for a temporary tax on the super-rich to pay for things like eco-initiatives. Now, just forget that bit for a second. Where the money gets spent, and I understand they're an organisation that would argue these points, so it's natural they would say you can start insulating homes and complementary bus travel, creation of environmentally stable jobs, etc. I understand all of that. But just think of the question here. And I stand to be convinced. I remember others have come up with these kind of schemes before. But the suggestion here from the economist Ben Tippet from King's College London, commissioned by Greenpeace, suggests that a national renewal tax targeting the wealthiest 0.1%, so it's a relatively small group of people, could generate £130 billion for the government over a 5-year period. So the proposed levy would be an annual 2.5 on individual fortunes exceeding £10 million throughout the parliamentary term. So you'd have to be earning 10 million or more to be included in this. And it would raise, according to these figures, and I know there's going to be many armchair economists out there crunching the numbers who are going to tell me exactly why this could never work, and I'm all ears. This would raise £130 billion. That would pay for Big Rach down there at the Treasury. All her troubles would disappear, right? I mean, forget the 20 billion black hole or the 40 billion black hole. I mean, this is home and dry. Happy days all round. Can somebody tell me why we shouldn't do that? I mean, instinctively, my belief remains the same, that if you just simply go with cap in hand to the richest cohort every time there's a problem, you'll end up in a situation, firstly, where there are certainly fewer, if any, rich people left. But you would find it ever easier each time to go back. Oh, look, there's a big infrastructure project we need to get done. Let's tax the rich a little bit more. You know, the rich are already paying, and they're paying substantial. I mean, way over and above that any of us could ever dream or think of in terms of numbers. They are already paying. And I know there's some swivelized accountants out there that crunch the numbers and muck around with the books and get them off the hook here and there. They're still paying a load. Is taxing the rich the answer to our problems? 0344 499 1000. That is where you will find us.